Hey, it's Rossbotnik. Ever since my neighbor introduced me to Final Fantasy VII back in my childhood, I've been a massive fan of the JRPG series. So when I heard that Square Enix was remaking the first 6 games for modern platforms, I knew I had to get my hands on that collection, after waiting a whole year for them to finally hit consoles. So what is Final Fantasy? Final Fantasy I tells the story of 4 heroes prophesized to save the world from darkness. In the Kingdom of Corneria, the 4 warriors of light emerged to restore the 4 elemental orbs which the evil forces have darkened. Pretty standard now, but I can forgive it since it's up there with Dragon Quest for developing console RPGs. Final Fantasy I features classic turn-based RPG gameplay. Players assemble a party of 4 heroes, each with unique abilities and classes chosen at the beginning of the game. They explore an expansive world map filled with towns, dungeons, and hidden secrets. Combat encounters occur randomly or in set locations, where players strategically choose their actions, such as attacking, using magic, or employing items to defeat enemies. As characters progress, they gain experience points to level up, improving their stats and learning new abilities. Throughout their journey, players must solve puzzles, complete quests, and defeat powerful bosses to advance in the story and restore peace to the realm. If you're looking for a deep dive into the origins of Final Fantasy or how it was created, there are plenty of great resources out there. Me, I'm just here to unlock trophies. As I work through the game, I'll need to complete the bestiary and open every chest. Thankfully, none of these locations are missable, but it's always a good idea to keep a guide handy. I start building my party with a standard one. Just a fighter, a monk, a white, and a black mage. The game wastes no time throwing us into the world. There's a town nearby and a dungeon to the north. I start by grinding for levels and cash to gear up with equipment and spells. Once the team is fully equipped, we head north to the Chaos Shrine to rescue the princess and take out the Dark Knight Garland. After saving the princess, the king builds a bridge to the mainline, and I unlock a hero's journey. Heading north, I come across a witch's cave. The witch has lost her crystal eye and can't see a thing, so there's not much I can do for now. Moving on, I reach the next town and grind out a few battles to earn cash for new equipment. During this, I unlock Apprentice Warrior for defeating my 100th enemy. In town, I encounter a group of pirates who attack as soon as I talk to them. After defeating them, I'm rewarded with a ship, opening up the seas for exploration. A few battles on the ship later, and I unlocked Field Research Basic for defeating 10% of the bestiary. I dock at the nearby port and arrive at the Elven Kingdom. After battling the new enemies in the area, I stock up on fresh equipment and spells. While grinding, I unlock the Thrifty Spender trophy for earning 10,000 gil. In the castle, I find the Elven Prince under a sleep spell cast by the fiend Astos. With nothing I can do for him yet, I head northwest. There I come across a king in the ruins of the Western Keep. He was also deceived by Astos and asked me to retrieve his crown from the Marsh Cave. On the way to the Marsh Cave, I unlocked Experienced Warrior for defeating 300 enemies, and Smart Saver for earning 50,000 gil. As I delve deeper into the Marsh Cave, I face plenty of undead enemies, unlocking Legendary Warrior for taking out 500 foes. Not long after, I also pop Rookie Treasure Hunter for opening 10% of the game's treasure chests, and Money Bags for collecting 100,000 gil. Deep within the Marsh Cave, I come across a treasure chest guarded by a group of demons. After a tough battle, I claim the crown and head back. We rush back to the Ruined Keep and return it, only to discover we've been tricked. The king was actually the Dark Elf Astos in disguise, and he attacks us. After the first truly challenging fight of the game, we take him down and recover a crystal eye. We backtrack to the witch's cave and return her crystal eye. In exchange, she gives us a Jolt Tonic. With it, we head back to the Elven Castle, where the Jolt Tonic wakes the prince up. Gratefully, he rewards us with a Mystic Key. With the Mystic Key, we revisit previously explored locations to open locked treasure chests. One of these in Corneria Castle contains the nitro powder needed to progress. Back on the ship, we sail to the northern point and make our way to Mount Draugr, home of the dwarves. We hand the nitro powder to Narek, a dwarf who uses it to blast through part of the land above, creating a new passage for our ship to escape to the further seas. Before moving on, we stop at a nearby town to upgrade our equipment and magic, then set out for the next dungeon, the Cavern of Earth. Making our way through the dungeon, we make sure to open up every chest and encounter every monster until we encounter a vampire, the mini-boss of the area. Defeating him, we find a nearby chest holding a star ruby, but a stone slab blocks our path, preventing us from going deeper. We leave the Cavern of Earth and head further west, discovering the Giant's Cave. Inside, we find a stone giant who lets us pass once we give him the star ruby. This leads us to the Sage's Cave, where the sage informs us that the vampire was merely a servant to a greater evil. In gratitude, he gives us the Earth Rod, which will allow us to get past that stone slab. Backtracking to the Earth Cavern, we use the Earth Rod to get to the lower levels. Here we find the Earth Crystal guarded by the first of the 4 fiends, the Lich. However, he falls easily and we restore the Earth Crystal, unlocking Earth's Blessing. We sail around the ocean in search of the next crystal, eventually landing at the Crescent Lake. After upgrading our equipment and spells once again, we visit the sages to learn some lore and receive a canoe, which will help us traverse the rivers leading to the next crystal. This takes us to Mount Glog, filled with treasure chests to open and monsters to defeat for the bestiary. Here we make our way through the mountain to face the second of the 4 fiends, Marlith, the Fiend of Fire. She goes down easy thanks to my Null Blaze spells and the buffs applied to my warrior. With her defeated, I restore the Fire Crystal and unlock Rekindled Flame. With that fiend defeated, we head north to find another dock to anchor at, where we discover the Ice Cavern nearby. Along the way, I unlock the Field Research Advanced Trophy for defeating 50% of the bestiary. In the Ice Cavern, we do the usual until we come across the Leva Stone. I also unlock the trophy for opening 50% of the treasure chests. Next, we make our way to the southern desert. Using the Leva Stone, we raise the airship from the sand and claim it as our new mode of transportation. With our new airship, we can now access new areas, like the town of Gaia, where we pick up some new spells and equipment. From there, we head to the nearby Citadel of Trials. A mage allows us to enter the Citadel of Trials since we possess the crown we earned from the Dark Elf. Inside, we navigate the maze of warp panels, making sure to encounter every new foe and opening every treasure chest. The final chest contains the Rat's Tail, which will allow us to upgrade our classes later. We hop back into the airship and head to the small islands to the northeast, where we find the Dragon Caves. There, we meet Bahamut, the King of Dragons, who rewards us for finding the Rat's Tail by upgrading our classes. The warrior becomes a knight, the monk becomes a master, and the black and white mage becomes a black and white wizard. And in doing so, we unlock the Token of Courage trophy. Next, we head to the desert in the northeastern continent, where we find a hidden area with a merchant cavern. He sells us a bottled fairy, which will be necessary to access the next crystal. We return to Gaia, where the fairy is released from its bottle and rewards us with some oxalate, allowing us to breathe underwater. We then head to the town of Onrock to pick up some new magical spells, and while there, a girl offers us the use of their submarine since we have the Oxal. She tells us to save the mermaids before mysteriously disappearing. Wait, the submarine is just a barrel. Okay then. This leads us to the Shrunken Shrine, where the water crystal lies. As usual, we open every chest and fight every new enemy before we reach the crystal chamber. There, we face the Kraken and unlock Revitalized Waters. With only 1 crystal left, we head to the nearby river and start heading upstream in our canoe. We stumble upon a cave hidden behind a waterfall. Inside, we find a wealth of treasure chests and a robot? This mysterious figure gives us the warp cube and tells us about a flying fortress and something called Tiamat. One of the treasure chests we open in the Shrunken Shrine contained the Rosetta Stone. We take it back to the town of Melmon and show it to one of the townsfolk. With the stone, he's able to decipher the ancient language of the Lufarians, teaching us the language as well. With that done, we make our way to the eastern continent and find the Lufarian town. The townspeople tell us about the Wind Shrine, which floats high in the sky and gives us the Lufarian charm. This allows us to enter the Mirage Tower, which leads to the Flying Fortress. While climbing up the tower, our party members all reach level 50 and unlocked Seasoned Warrior. We continue climbing up the tower, opening chests and defeating monsters until we reach the top, where we find another robot. It tells us to use the warp cube to teleport to the next shrine. Upon arriving at the Flying Fortress, we unlock the Adventurous Wayfarer trophy for discovering every location in the game. We press on through the Wind Shrine, adding new entries to the bestiary and opening all the chests. Along the way, we make sure to grab the Adamantite, which will be necessary to forge Excalibur later. We finally reach Tiamat, the Fiend of Wind, but with my high level spells buffing my power, he goes down easily, restoring light to the Wind Crystal, and I unlock Wind's Caress. With the end in sight, there are just a few more tasks to handle. First, we return to the Dwarven Mines and give the blacksmith the Adamantite we found in the Wind Shrine. Using it, he forges the legendary sword Excalibur, and I unlock the Sword of Myth trophy. Next, we go for the last miscellaneous trophy. By boarding the ship and pressing X and circle, a tile shifting puzzle game appears. Simply bringing the game up unlocks Hidden Game. Before we head to the Chaos Shrine and tackle the final dungeon, there's one special enemy we need to face in the Flying Fortress. On the bridge leading to the Wind Crystal, there's a small chance to encounter the strongest enemy in the game, the Warmech. This enemy is essentially a precursor to the hidden super bosses that would become a staple of the Final Fantasy series. It takes about half an hour of grinding just to encounter him. It hits hard, but at this point, my party is well over level 70 and the Warmech is just no match for us. With that out of the way, we return to the Chaos Shrine, the very first dungeon. The 4 crystals open a portal to 2,000 years ago, leading us to the true Chaos Shrine, the final dungeon of the game. As we delve deeper into the shrine, we face rematches against the 4 fiends, encounter every monster and opening every treasure chest along the way. With a final chest open, we unlock the legendary Treasure Hunter trophy. At the end of the dungeon, we face Garland, the first boss. he reveals that he's the true mastermind behind everything, using some timey-wimey shenanigans to create a time loop with the four fiends. They keep reviving each other and sending each other through time. I'm not entirely sure how this all works, but it's turned Garland into a super all-powerful being with pure chaos, and we're here to put an end to his evil ambitions. The final battle is actually surprisingly short. Thanks to my spellcaster's buffs and all the powerful attacks from my knight and master, we make quick work of chaos and beat the game. Defeating chaos unlocks the prophecy fulfilled trophy and field research professional for completing the bestiary. With that, I unlock the platinum trophy, Master of One. So, was it worth it? Guys, I absolutely love this game. No joke, this is my 4th copy of Final Fantasy 1 that I own. I can always come back to it and try a different party formation to mix things up. With nothing missable, the game offers a great stress-free trophy hunt that I can easily recommend to both RPG beginners and experts. While it may lack some of the staples we know of the later Final Fantasy games, you can still see some of the seeds that will grow into the series regulars that everyone loves. So I'm giving Final Fantasy 1's Platinum Journey a Platinum Trophy. I love this game, and completing it was a fun experience I can easily recommend to anyone. Have you guys played or platinum Final Fantasy? Let me know down in the comments, and feel free to share what other games I should unlock the trophies in. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Unlocked. Take it easy, everyone.